let's make a fun snowman craft using Model Magic. So I've already opened this package and started smooshing it around a little, but I want to get all of the Model Magic that's in here out so we don't waste any. Okay, and I'm just going to soften it up a bit. And I'm going to use my scissors to portion this. So this was 1 ounce Model Magic from a class pack, and I'm just going to cut so that I have about 2/3 and then 1/3. Now, what I'm going to do with the smaller piece is roll it first into a ball. And I'm working in a plastic lid just so it doesn't stick to my messy mat. If you have a smooth surface that it won't stick to, then you can just work directly on your table or whatever surface that you have. So I've got my small piece here rolled into a ball, into a sphere, and I'm just going to kind of flatten it a bit. And then I'm moving on to this piece here. So for this piece, I want to again cut it so that I have a smaller piece and a bigger piece. And then I'm even going to cut another smaller piece off of that and set it aside because this is going to be used eventually to make a carrot nose. So now I'm going to roll this into a ball. Okay. And I'm flattening it just a little, not a lot, just a little bit. Okay, and that's going to go on top of this piece. So it looks kind of like that. And then this is our last piece here. We're going to roll it. And this is going on the top. So I'm just going to tap it a little so that it's a little bit flat to match that flat surface, and then position it right on the top. And you might be able to guess what we're making because it's got 3 pieces, but you'll notice that the bottom piece is kind of flattened out, and then this piece is starting to flatten out. So what we are making actually is a partially melting snow person. So you can make it a snowman or a snowwoman or whatever you want. So a snow person. Okay? Now I'm going to colorize this piece because we want to make it kind of an orangey color. And I want a dark orange, so I have a red and an orange marker. I'm going to start with just the orange marker and color on top of the Model Magic. And then I'm going to put some red in there too because I want a really dark, almost red orange for the carrot, not just a bright orange. Okay. And now I just have to roll this up and start to mix it. So smushing it. And since it's a small piece, it should mix really fast. That's a good color for a carrot. And now I can just kind of roll it between my fingers or roll it on the surface here. And And what I like to do when I'm putting something onto a piece of Model Magic is actually make a little indent and then add a little bit of glue. So that's what we're going to do for this. Okay, so I'm going to use the end of a paintbrush, but you can use pretty much anything that you want that you can push in. So I'm going to push that in, and you can see it makes like a little kind of opening there. And then I'm just going to put a little bit of glue inside that. And that just makes it extra sturdy. It shouldn't matter too much because Model Magic mostly sticks to itself, but just in case, and that's extra, we don't need that long of a carrot nose, but we want to make sure it will fit. And then we're just going to that into there. So there you go. All right, and now let's set that aside for just a second because we're going to make some arms. So I'm using a cotton swab that I just cut the little ends off. So we'll cut the ends off this one because we need to have 2 arms. And if you're doing this with kids, or you are a kid, you might need an adult to help cut these off because they are a little hard to cut off. And then because the arms are going to be branches, we're using a marker and we're just going to color this. And you don't have to color all the way down because part of it's going to get put inside the Model Magic, so just color the part that we're going to see. You could also go outside and find some really tiny twigs and use real twigs, which would be kind of a fun way to bring nature into this sculpture and get you outside into some fresh air where you could do some hunting for twigs. Now, just like I had a little bit of glue on the nose, I'm going to put just a little dot of glue on the end of each of these as I put them into the snowman. So we're going to do one on one side and then another one on the other side. Okay, so there we go. And we have a few options for things like buttons or things like that. You could add some of those, or eyes. So eyes, if you like the Frosty song, they're usually made out of coal. But what I'm going to do is color the part of the cotton swab that I cut off with my black marker. That's 2. And I'm going to make a few indents for the eyes. So one there, and one there. Put a little bit of glue. And you could do this without the glue, it just makes it a little bit sturdier. And then I'm going to push that in. Try not to get fingerprints on your snowman like I just did, but if If you do, that's okay. It can just look like it's a little bit dirty. Little dirty snow. Not a big deal. Okay, and then you've got your eyes. You can also add some buttons. You could do the same thing to make the buttons that way. Or we could use our Model Magic and add buttons with the Model Magic. So I don't want it to be an orange button though. So I'm just going to add some black to that. And it's not, I don't think it's going to turn it like a black button, but at least it won't be an orange button. My fingers are getting really messy now, but that's okay. And we're going to try to stick these onto, and they're really sticky from having added some more markers, so they should stick just fine without any glue. And then one on the melted part. So there's some buttons. And I have a little scrap of fabric that I can add as kind of a scarf. So I could trim this down. If you want to make it like a little girl, you could put a little thing like that. I guess we'll stay like that. Oh, I almost forgot about adding a mouth. How could I forget the mouth? All right, so for the mouth is actually super easy because you just draw right on the snow person with some little dots. I should have done this before the scarf though. So if you're going to add your mouth, you might want to do it before you add a scarf because it is easier without the scarf on there. Okay, so there you go. Super cute little snow person. You could even turn this into an ornament if you put a little hook in here before it hardens. You can put a little paper clip piece or a little piece of wire right into the top, or glue after it hardens a little string, and you could have that as an ornament on your Christmas tree. Let's see if we can peel this up though so that you can really see it. There it is. So there's our little snow person made with Model Magic. Little melting snow person.